And Violet's always thinking like, oh God, please don't show people the absolute weirdo that I'm in love with. And that's kind of living in my head canon. Every time you answer the door in sling pants, I just imagine these big, billowy, tent-like, multicolored pants. I've never had such a what the heck moment in my life than I had after finishing this book. This book was just like ridiculous. And I was like, whose idea was it? Who signed off on allowing a book to end this way? It was like, what the heck, what the heck, what the heck, what the, oh my God, what the heck? How long do I have to wait for this? How long do I have to wait until this is done? Like until the next book is out. Do not read this book if you can't handle having so many questions that you have to wait a massively long time to figure out the answers to. Like immediately after finishing this book, I Googled like, okay, when's the next book coming out in the series? And I was like, oh, at least 2 years? I mean, the book only came out a month ago. Doesn't even have a name, the next book, which okay, makes sense, but still, 2 years? And then I found out she's planning on taking time off. Are you serious? Who the heck does Rebecca Yarros think she is? Hey, I'm Sherry. I just read Onyx Storm. I actually finished it like, I think at this point it's been like 2 weeks, but I needed to digest it and I was so not ready to film a video on it yet. I was like, oh my God, what just happened? Is she serious? Like, is this a real situation right now? Like, or did I just dream the ending? But yeah, before we get into it, many spoilers. I am still in Pucón, Chile. It's beautiful. It's freezing actually today. So yeah, I'm a little bit layered up. But I was like, okay, I think it's time to finally film my reaction to Onyx Storm. So let's get into it. First off, I am panicking a little bit. Like, should she be allowed to take a vacation without any idea when the next book is coming out? Like nothing? She can't even have like at least an outline and be like, hey, summer 2025. I mean, that's just wishful thinking. Summer 2026, maybe? Like, come on, please. But no, she's like, I'm going to go on vacation and I'm going to write another book in between. I'm like, no, the world has given you a gift. We have decided that we will read the books that you're writing and you cannot be stingy with your words. Thank you. And that is how I feel. Let's start from the beginning. There's like no way I'm getting into the nitty gritty of the series. Like either you're someone who read it and is coming here to freak out about it, or you need to find someone way better at summarizing than me because there's a lot going on. And I don't know how to explain every new twist and turn that comes up. Sorry. And before we start, you should know I do have a bone to pick with this book. More than one bone, actually. I know it's a little bit late also, like Onyx Storm was released, I think January 20th and it is now March. But I'm like, hey, there are like thousands of people in my library still waiting for it. So if you're one of those people, I needed to wait like a month for it. If you're one of those people who are like, oh no, I'm all the way at the end of the line, well, this is a recent video coming out. So, you won't have to like scroll back months to see what people said about Onyx Storm because they were the lucky ones that bought it. All right, we start off literally right where the last one ended. Xaden has turned venom and now we gotta cover it up. This was crazy that I turned venom because it's literally it's been reiterated so many times in the series that venom are evil and they lose their minds, and it's like over and over and over again, they are bad, they are bad, they are bad. And then Xaden, the main character's love interest, the guy that is like carrying the book, he's venom now. So while we, or maybe at least I, really liked Violet and Xaden's relationship, it's very interesting to see. Like, I was really excited to see how they navigate this change in their relationship, right? This is a pretty massive change to take place where, Violet's lover literally becomes the bad guy. But the entire time, she just preaches control. It's like, control yourself, don't take more than you need, control your power, control, control, control. And at some points, it actually feels like it might work. Like, hey, Xanden's a bit of a control freak. Like, maybe you can actually do this. Got some lemon water also, just to be a little soothing while I discuss this unsoothing story. So that is one major plot point. There's another plot point that is a quest. Now, I love a good quest. I think quests are probably one of my favorite type of plots, like where someone's like on a journey of discovering something and it's just fun, I guess. And there's always like new information and stuff. But this quest, I don't know, it felt like a really tiny, insignificant part of the book. I don't know if it's because so much happens that I've already forgotten most of the quest by the time I finish the book. Like, there was so much new information afterwards. Or I just would have wanted even more of the quest. But basically, the quest is that they go looking for the family of Andarna, who is Violet's adolescent dragon. She's called an Irid, which is something we learn in this book from actual Venin person. And she's the last of her kind, at least on the continent. So they go out of their continent where the Venin reside. Like the Venin are really only on their continent, and they try to search for her kind. Where do they search? They're called the Isles. Kind of makes it seem like there's just a big chunk of land where the continent is, where Violet lives, and where the Venin are, and where everything takes place. And then there's just like little small islands all around where the rest of the world is. Now, I know there's a map somewhere. I don't know if I ever looked at it. I'm actually not a fan of maps. I know people are like obsessed with maps. Like they're kind of pretty looking, but I almost never look at them. I think the one map I've looked at is Aragon. When I was reading that, not even the first time or the second time, but like I read it again recently. And I remember I just wanted to see like where things were because he was on a quest also. And I found that really interesting. But I don't know, I never looked. Was there even a map in this one? Because I also read this in ebook format. It's a lot more annoying to flip back to a map in an ebook than it is to flip back to the front page of your book, your physical copy. Probably looks a lot better too. Anyway, the Isles are ridiculous. It really feels like a bunch of backwater towns that just gave themselves power so that when Violet and her squad come to like try to get their help, they can just lord it over them. It's literally like that, like a bunch of really bratty children who have no idea how to really act. Everyone's just so juvenile. It was kind of frustrating because I was like, hey, just say you're not going to grant an audience if you're not interested in their war, or say like, hey, I'll hear you out. But what is with the fighting until you're on the brink of death in order to be granted an audience with the queen? It's like, what is with that power play? That's just messed up. Or like picking a card randomly to see what gifts you get, childish gifts at best, and then you can also get an arrow to the heart and you die. Like what type of god is that also? Like again, it just extremely juvenile and stupid. Like I don't believe there are such infantile societies out there. Sorry if I'm ignorant, but it was just pathetic. It was pathetic. Like it felt so stupid. Like that part kind of felt like a kid's book, except way more gory. But it was like too ridiculous to actually make sense. I was like, why? Why are the Isles like this? Like, why is this even a thing? But they also don't have magic, so maybe they've evolved in ways to have less brain power than the continent. Okay, I heard that we're going to get more Isles in upcoming books. I don't know where my information's from. I have no idea if it's accurate. But I guess we'll have to see how they hold up. For now, like, I liked the idea of the quest, but the actual people on the Isles were just extremely cringy. Like caricatures of people, if you will. Anyways, Andarna becomes all grumpy because they actually find the Irids, and they find out that they're actually a peaceful dragon breed, and they don't want to get involved in the war that they came from. They actually left because of the savagery of the rest of the continent. So like she's supposed to be proud of what a fierce and strong warrior she is. She's left being moody and like unsure of who she really is, you know, and who she wants to be. Okay, so then Violet also directly disobeyed orders to go to the Isles, which she did because they wanted her to go to an isle, come back, check in. Go to another isle, come back and check in. But that was like time consuming and stupid. And she's like, no, I'm just going to do it all at once. We're just going to disobey them. When Violet returns, she doesn't get into trouble, even though she directly disobeyed orders, because she's got the Prince of Navarre, Auric, with her, who secretly became a dragon rider. I was actually really happy about this because I felt like the entire premise of Iron Flame was Violet getting in trouble all the time by Varish and getting punished to extreme lengths because of everything she like slightly did wrong. And I was like, we don't need to see that again. Like we did it, we saw it, it was kind of awful. I don't think we need a repeat of Iron Flame and torture. I get it. Everybody hates Violet. Everybody's always out to kill her and hate her and destroy her. Whatever. It's kind of sad. She's like a 20-year-old nothing, and literally grown men are like, I want to torture you. Kind of sadistic, right? Like a little bit psychotic, just a little. It's actually getting kind of old because it's the same tired thing over and over again. Like, you can't kill me because I'm bonded to the strongest dragon on the continent, and his mate is bonded to the strongest rider of this generation. And if I go down, I take them all down with me. Blah, blah, blah. Like, and it should be obvious that the general of his own army shouldn't kill his own cadets. And yet, why is everyone always killing each other? which allows me to take an important sidetrack. The amount of casual death in these books is astounding. It's a war and it's a college with like really temperamental dragons, so it makes sense that there would be death. But I'm not talking about a fall in battle. Although really don't get too close to any of the characters in case they end up meeting Malik. But I'm talking about casual death, like, whoops, that person tripped and now they're dead. Oh no. Or hey, this person picked a random card out of a deck and it said arrow, so he shot with an arrow and he's dead. And that's what's crazy, like, you never know when someone's gonna die for no reason. But like no logical reason. It feels dumb. Like, come on. You're just waiting to have like one man standing at the last book. Like the fifth book's gonna come, everyone's gonna be dead except Violet because she's not allowed to die, and that's gonna be the ending. Oh my god, did I just predict the ending of the Empyrean series? Okay, I guess we'll see. So you got to be on your guard at all times because anyone could go at any moment. But back to the story. So at the War College, Xaden is brooding, which he does very well because he's channeled from the earth, and now I think it's been like 3 times that he's done it, and he's really scared he's gonna lose it, which, I mean, we're all scared because we're all just like, can you stop being such a baby all the time? Like, stop channeling, you know it's gonna kill you. But I don't understand because it seems like a really, 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 really powerful addiction, like he cannot control. He tries, but then something triggers him just a little bit. Violet's in a tiny bit of danger and he just channels, and this was to mimic channeling from the earth. It's like he always like presses his hands down to the floor, and he like, I picture him just like quivering, like taking the earth's power, you know. Oh, and also they learned that there's no cure for Venin on the quest, which was the whole reason Violet wanted to go on the quest. Like, obviously she was going to take Indarna to find the Irid, but like she was really hoping that there would be answers to how to cure Venin. So yeah, Xaden and Violet are dealing with that, and they don't really see a lot of each other. And the whole time there's like a major big up their Venin who is trying to get Violet to turn and come be with her. And that's like, I would say, the major plotline of this book. I'm totally forgetting her name right now. Probably Google it. Theophany. It's Theophany. Anyways, everyone's taking turns to go to Orisha and work on the runes because they realize it's actually kind of important. So like they're in the War College, but they're also going back to Orisha. But the wards in Orisha are about to fall because they didn't have an Irid to fire the wardstone. So they say they got like 6 months left. They're not really sure. It's kind of shaky. But for now, they're there. And then suddenly there's a huge battle. I don't remember how it starts. There's lots of battles. But like basically there's a bunch of Venin and Wyvern. And they're coming to try to capture Violet. And Theophany's like about to kill Violet or something, or take her. And then all of a sudden the wards go up. Basically what happened is an Irid came to help them. He said he was the only one, like, you kind of felt it when all the Irids were there, and you're like, okay, one of these guys is not like the others. Like, he's got a little bit more of a heart. But he was like, I fired the wardstone and I'm coming for Indarna. Indarna is so excited to see him. Like, she's a little kid. She's written, I feel like, pretty well. She really acts like a little kid. So Indarna's excited because she's like gonna go train to be, I don't know, she just like wants to learn about herself, I guess. But then she learns in order to do that, she's gonna have to give Violet up. Like, give up the bond if she wants to learn anything about her family. And Violet actually chooses for her to leave because Indarna can't make that decision on her own. And then she spirals and she almost kills herself. Well, not actually. She almost gives up on life, I guess I would say. But she's got Tarn, she's got Xaden, so she's like, you know what, I'm gonna live. I think it's funny because was it only like 3 days? Wasn't a lot of mourning, a lot of time of grief, but it was pretty bad, I guess. She doesn't like shower or do anything for a bit. And all of this culminates in a big battle that she's trapped into going because Mira has been taken. Now, Mira's always just there. She's like the strong, capable big sister that could do anything, kind of like a mother figure because, you know, Violet's mother was no mother to her. So of course she's going to go save Mira. It's Mira. She was never not going to go. Mira's the older sister we all wish we had. The one who would like literally give their life for us because they love us. And they actually wouldn't give their life for us because they're so powerful and strong and you know that they could do anything. It's Mira. So she manages to save Mira, we think. I don't know if we ever really see it, but like thanks to Brennan, I'm pretty sure Mira is alive. But then she has a major fight with Theophany. And this is where I'm sure we all had the collective feeling of who the heck signed off on this? Where was Rebecca Yarros' editor? Who let her do this? Why is this book being published unfinished? Does she have no shame at all? Like, why is this normal? Actually, why is this normal? It was just so freaking annoying. So they're almost losing. Another beloved character dies, and Sigale and Taryn both get captured. I know. Like, the most fearsome dragon and the biggest, baddest dragon on the continent. It's kind of crazy. You really just feel like they're super unmatched. Like, Venom are just going to take over. Dun, dun, dun. But there's no way they're dying. Like, there's no way that actually happens, and I wouldn't go crazy and then need to rewrite an ending that lives in my head as though it's canon. Like, that's what would happen if she killed Sigale and Taryn, obviously, if anything actually ended up after that. But no, that would need a rewrite. That would need a fan rewrite, and we would all just collectively accept it as canon and pretend like Rebecca Yarros does not exist, or, you know, have Brandon Sanderson write the end of it or something. But she didn't write it. Xaden just channels, which is not surprising. Like, once Sigale got captured, I was like, he's going to do whatever it takes to save his dragon, which also makes sense. Like, two people he would die for, or channel for, I should say. Violet and Sigale. Well, I guess Sigale's not a person, but two beings, two creatures. You get my point, right? But he channels a ton. Like, he does a lot of taking magic from the earth, or power from the earth, or whatever, and he turns way more venom-like than we've seen in this entire book. When it happened, I was just like, no, Xaden, don't do it, don't turn evil, don't do it. I was literally just like in my head, like, please. He didn't listen to me. But also, like I said, they were gonna kill Sigale. Like, of course he did it. Not surprised. The ending's a little weird because it flips through a couple of points of views. We don't usually get anything more than like just Xaden at the end with his little point of view, but this time it was like multiple different perspectives. But we got Rhiannon, we got Imogen, and it was like, okay, interesting. And then Xaden says a couple of very cryptic things to Sigale, and we have no idea what they mean. Or maybe other people have an idea what they mean, but I have no idea what they mean at all. And then it ends. The ending is so sudden, it comes way too quick. And this is the problem with digital copies of books, because if I had seen that there was this much of the book left, I would have been like, get myself prepared for it, because I couldn't actually tell how much was left. I was very much taken by surprise, and I was very pissed. Very, very pissed. We find out a bunch of info, get a ton of questions, but have zero answers. Like, none. No idea. One, someone else turned venom. Someone Xaden sees, and he wonders why he did it, because apparently this person was taking care of Xaden while he was venom, so it leaves a very, very small group of people who could possibly have become venom. I assume it's Garrick, because he keeps making references, and it just makes sense. It's just the most obvious to me, especially because our second question is, Garrick's missing, and where'd he go? Garrick's missing along with Xaden and a couple of other writers, but no one knows where they are. But people do seem to know now that Xaden is venom, and he stole some dragon eggs, which is crazy. Number 3, Violet is married and has no recollection of it. To Xaden, by the way. But she gets married to Xaden, has his ring on her finger, and cannot remember a single thing. Basically, we see it from her point of view, where she manages to kill Theophany, and then it's 12 hours later, and she's suddenly back with Imogen, who, by the way, can alter memories, so we know that Imogen altered the memories, but she has no memory. But apparently Violet told Imogen to erase her memory. Imogen's like, I did exactly what you wanted me to do. And all she has from Xaden is the words, don't find me, don't come find me, don't come look for me, basically. Like, something like that. And that's it. Do you see how freaking cruel she is? Not Violet. Rebecca Yarros. Who ends a book like that? We were all going to buy the 4th book anyways. You just had to keep us there. Honestly, it's pretty genius. I also want my books really badly. I don't like it, though, as a reader. I really don't. And to not even be planning on writing the next book anytime soon. But seriously, you have a whole fandom waiting, and you're like, I'm just going to write another book set in another world. Like, come on. What is wrong with you? Someone push this person. Someone sit her down in a locked room and force her to write the rest of the book. Series. I mean, there's actually a part of me that thinks she has no idea what's happening. Like, she doesn't know what to do. She made Violet lose her mind. She tossed a bunch of like plot holes at us, and she's letting future Rebecca deal with it. And if that happens and we don't get any more Empyrean books, well, right now I'm pissed, but I also don't see myself like holding on to this for a long time. Because, like, I did have a few problems with this baby, but, like, I would like to know what happens. Like, how didn't Darna know to come back at exactly the right time? Oh, I missed that, right? And Darna comes back by the battle or something, and she helps out somehow. The only thing I can think of is that she's still a little bit connected to Violet, and she sensed something really bad going down. She's like, I gotta go back, and she left. Or something else, which we better find out within the next 2 years. 2 years is a really long time between releases. But I guess Stranger Things I had to wait a really long time for, and that is something that also had a crazy cliffhanger. I'm just trying to be realistic. It's probably going to take her at least 2 years to finish. So now that I ran through the major plot, I kind of want to talk about the B plot. And being that this is a romantasy, obviously that's the romance. And I gotta say, Rebecca seems to only know one way to describe a person, and she just keeps going hard with it. She just keeps regurgitating the same thing, which if you watch my video on Crescent City, I also had that complaint. And, you know, I've never wrote erotic fiction, but, like, there's not just one way to describe something. But let's go back. I remember when I read Fourth Wing, it was 2 months ago. I was like, ooh, well done. I love the build-up of tension. This is great. But how many times can Xaden's voice sound like it was dragged over hot coals? Like, the same thing. I think this book, it probably was like over 100 times. His voice sounded like it was dragged over hot coals. So I kind of imagine it like a rasp, right? There's got to be more ways to describe rasp. Pretty sure. You could literally make it a drinking game. It would actually be kind of fun, and you'd all be wasted. It wasn't enough to make me not like the book. But I'm starting to feel like, just make this a closed-door romance. Like, it's just boring. I basically skipped through it because I wanted to make sure there wasn't like a major plot point that I was missing. But, like, nothing new happened. Like, I kind of like the fact that Xaden now has this, like, new element of, like, control that he's got to maintain the whole time, which did add something new, because the scenes are a little different and he's, like, fighting with himself the whole time. But the wording, gosh, the wording. Like, okay, he was wearing nothing but his sleeping pants. Do you know how many times we saw that? What the heck are sleeping pants? He answered the door, nothing but his sleeping pants. Does anybody know what sleeping pants are? Because I have no idea. I mean, it's pants he sleeps in, clearly, and he would never be caught dead outside in them, obviously, because then why would she mention so many times, like, he answered in nothing but his sleeping pants, because it was very specific. It was sleeping pants. It was not regular pants, it was sleeping pants. Violet always thinks it's significant enough to point that out. Maybe he's got a weird thing for clown pants, so that's what he always sleeps in. And Violet's always thinking, like, oh God, please don't show people the absolute weirdo that I'm in love with. And that's kind of living in my head canon. Every time he answers the door in his sleeping pants, I just imagine these big, billowy, tent-like, multicolored pants. Anyways, another thing that really bothered me was, like, the massive amount of dragons and their names, like riders and dragons, that I cannot keep track of at all. I literally only know, like, Scale and Xaden are bonded, and Taryn and Darna and Violet are bonded. I don't know who any... Oh, Dane and Kath. That's it. Like, that's actually it. And I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's Kath. Yeah. I don't know, and I can't keep track, and a lot of times she just says the name, right? And I can't tell if it's even a dragon or if it's a person. It's just a name. So there's, like, a little too much information being given in not a clear way, but also that it doesn't really affect the book, because I don't really care. A lot of it is insignificant. Like, who cares who's fighting who? Like, when Sawyer gets his leg eaten by a wyvern in this iron flame, like, they're fighting with a dragon, whatever, blah, blah, and, like, okay, it became significant. Like, I know who Sawyer is. I don't remember whose dragon is. I still don't remember whose dragon is now. But yeah, you kind of just make it work. Like, you don't even have to know that information. So every time people got introduced, I just kept rolling with it, because, like, does it matter who the person is? It didn't really feel like it mattered at all. And basically, after reading Fourth Wing, I was like, wow, I actually really like this book. Like, I get why this is such a big deal. And then I read Iron Flame, and it was really good. It was such a big deal. I actually read Iron Flame a second time, like, in a different medium, but that's how much I liked it. And I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I was so excited for Onyx Storm, okay? And then, I don't know if you saw my short, but it was, like, freaking out. Like, I put myself on hold to the library. It was a 6-month wait. It ended up going way faster. So I got it pretty quickly, because my library acquired 55 more copies, which was awesome. But then I got it, and I don't feel the same way after this book. Like, I'm a little bit nervous that she's not really going to keep up with what the standard she set for herself. And that's actually a very interesting thing. Like, there's a lot of authors, well, namely I'm thinking of 2 authors right now that we all know, that have put out really great books, but they just haven't finished the series. We're all just waiting for the series for years and years and years and years now. And maybe it's because they just can't live up to it. And they're like, instead of writing anything and finishing it, I'm just going to leave this massive cliffhanger, leave it off on like, okay, we need the 3rd book, we need the 5th book or whatever. And everyone thinks it's going to be good, but nobody actually knows. You can't judge something by something that doesn't exist, right? So yeah. Is Rebecca Yarros going to continue writing books? I think so. She seems to have written a lot of books already. I don't think she's actually going to stop. I also think people are actually interested in this. I also don't think it's that difficult to continue the plot line. She probably does already know a little bit what's going to happen. I just might actually skip through a lot of the spicy scenes because they were just kind of boring. Also, we're gonna have to wait a really long time, and by the time it comes out, I'm probably gonna forget all about this. So it's actually good that I have this video. I'll just like rewatch it and be like, oh right, that's kind of what happened, even if it's the worst summary in existence, because it's not really a summary. So I'll probably actually get somebody else's very good summary that probably people have done, because people actually do really great jobs at summaries. Okay, I'm babbling. Also, I don't know why this like video just exhausted me to talk about. I'm like so tired right now. It's probably also the weather, because it's like kind of dreary outside. But basically, I think I need a nap. Also, I'm currently, because of this book a little bit, it like kind of jaded me, and I'm like trying to get into like new books. So I'm currently revisiting books from my childhood, and that's going to be a future video that I'm actually really excited about. So subscribe if you're interested in that. Oh, I forgot to say like this video, okay? Like this video even if you don't like Onyx Storm, okay? You could just like this video because I put work and time into rambling about Onyx Storm. You could also dislike this video if you want. That's cool. Could you let me know why though? Because if I don't get the feedback, I can't improve. Okay? And subscribe. Thank you. Because if you subscribe, then I can continue talking about books forever. And it's my favorite thing to do. The end.